Welcome to Sew Very Easy. My name is Laura, and today I would like to share with you how to make this beautiful quilt. It sort of has that rainbow feel to it. The fabric is from Andover, and I am going to take all of these colors and I'm going to use the color wheel and have all of the colors go in order, and they're going to match up beside each other. It is a very easy pattern to make, even if you choose not to follow a color wheel. It's a very simple block, so it's going to go together really quick and easy. The fabric is from Andover, and it is called Sunprint, and there is a free pattern to go along with it. So let's get started. Now the fabric line is called Sunprint. It's a new fabric line out. They have beautiful fun colors. We have fabric that has a little bit of a teardrop shape. We have a tone-on-tone floral, and we do have that floral with some butterflies. With these beautiful fabrics, we're going to be able to create a color wheel. So I've taken that color wheel and I've matched up the fabrics around. Now I'm going to use black for binding, and I'm going to use this black for backing fabric. So starting with 21 bright colors is a good palette to work with. Of course, you do not need to do it in the rainbow color wheel theory. I just really like the way that has that shape. If we're going to follow the pattern, we're going to be somewhere around this area. Here is where I'm going to make the division. And I can straighten my colors out now. From here, I'm going to be able to cut my fabrics. So you're going to be able to buy fat quarter bundles for this, or you can buy yardage. A quarter yard of fabric is 9 inches. If you choose to buy quarter yards, you're going to be able to trim this down to an 8-inch strip of fabric. Then we're going to be able to subcut these into those 5-inch pieces. I will have a total of 2, 4, 6, 8, and a little bit left over if I cut those strips into 8 inches. So I have the 8 by 5 inches. If you cut in a 5-inch strip, you're going to be able to get 5 squares. So you can do it with fat quarters, 8-inch strips of fabric, or 5-inch strips of fabric. I would rather start with that 8 inches and have some left over that I can make a table runner with, and that way I can lay out that rainbow the way I would like. So all of my pieces are cut. They're 5 inches by 8 inches, and I did cut more than I needed of each of these colors. I did keep them in that same color wheel, and now I'm going to be able to cut and put them together. But before I cut and put them together, I'm going to transfer some of my first pile over to the end. So just take a couple of pieces and put them right here at the end. So now I'm going to be able to match up these two together, these two, and I'm going to be able to continue and always match up two that are beside each other. But when I come to the end, I'm going to be able to match up these last two. So this one will continue that color wheel. And the matching and the sewing is really simple. We're going to take two that we want to sew together and place them together so that the right sides are both up. Match up those edges, and now I'm going to cut from one side to another. And I'm going to cut it on an angle. And you can see those directions on that angle. So I'm just going to place down a ruler and cut. And I'm not measuring. I'm just cutting those apart. And just give them a restack. So I'm going to have two that are going to look like this, and two on the opposite. We're going to sew that long cut edge together, and to match up this edge, we just want to have a little bit of a dog ear pointing out. and that's going to be approximately 1/4 inch. So we're going to stitch 1/4 inch all the way down, coming off of that edge. So we have 2 little 1/4 inch dog ears on each end. That's just going to save us a little bit of fabric, and it doesn't have to be exact. So there is that little approximate 1/4 inch dog ear. And we have that on both sides. We're going to be able to press that open. And that's the shape that we're going to do for all of those blocks. The 2 that we cut together, we need to sew together. And that way those cut lines are going to match. When we have those 2 stitched together, we're going to choose 2 more. So we're going to end up with these 2 together, we're going to end up with these 2 together, and so on through that entire color pile. If you're going to follow a color wheel or a certain pattern, it might be a good idea to keep all of your pieces in order. So as I was sewing, I kept all of these pieces in that same order as I had them laid out. I'm going to press them, I'm going to trim them down, and I'm going to keep them in that same order. If you're not doing an order, then just have some fun and sew them all together. All of my pieces are trimmed, I've kept them in order, and even my scrap pile does look cute. I am now going to be able to put these together. We can follow this pattern, and it does have this little bit of a stripe, sort of rainbow feel to it. I will not be duplicating this exactly, but I do want to have that feel. The pieces were very, very easy to do. We did not have to worry where that line was going or how to square them up. As long as they're squared to 4 inches and 7.5, that's all we're going to need. As I lay out my colors, I'm not concerned that all of the pieces are going in the same direction. In other words, the wide is going up to the small. It doesn't matter. We're able to switch them around so that we get the feel that we want. They're all the same size, so they're just going to go together the way you want them to go together. To stitch this together, I did stitch long rows and then put those rows together. But to help myself stay organized, along the selvage or in that seam allowance, I wrote numbers. These little numbers are the numbers of the rows, and that way I can keep my rows in place. You are never going to see that little number in that seam allowance, but it definitely will help keep you straight. My cobblestone quilt top is now done. I just love the way these colors all flow together. It was fun being able to use the color wheel with all of those fabrics and pull them in together. I will be using a black background and some black binding just to anchor all of those colors. And the quilt block was very easy. It's just one seam, and we just trimmed that down so they were all the same size. Now, I did use the color wheel, but you don't have to. You really could just put any of these colors together and it would look so much fun. I'll put a link in the description to the free pattern from Andover Fabrics. I did use this beautiful color palette, but it really would look nice in any solids, prints, and it'd just be a fun pattern to make. I do hope you enjoyed today's episode. And as always, thank you for joining me today on Sew Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and I do have a newsletter. It's all free under Sew Very Easy. And be sure to make every day a Sewtacular day. Bye for now.